Yo, we are back. We are back. We are back.
Yes, we are.
And this is something new we doing. You feel me? People been asking.
It was expected.
When y'all having a guest, when y'all having somebody come through, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had to get our feet wet first, you feel me? We had to get the podcast thing down packed. But I wanted to make, you know what I'm saying, the first guest be impactful. And I thought, yeah, we could try to get somebody who has 50, 60,000 followers or whatever. But I want like on something, I want this interview to like age like fine wine. So I'm like, all right. So I looked in my immediate circle and I looked around. I'm like, all right. And I this guy right here is an amazing artist. Deeper than just rap, but donSMITH, man. donSMITH.
Thanks for having me, man.
I ain't want to drag out the intro because I was going to keep talking. I had to cut it short, you feel me? I felt myself keep going because it's more. But this guy right here is my guy. Personal friend to the show. Subscriber.
From multiple accounts.
You feel me? Don't tell people that. I keep that.
You can edit that out. Yeah,
that's want people think our numbers is boosted. But anywho, he's about to drop a new project, man. We're coming off the heels of what I would say is like a run. If you just been in tune with what he's got going on, like he just dropped like back to back quality projects, which I would say EPs also, like all
the first two were EPs. Yeah, the third one was an album for sure. At least I treated it that way.
Two EPs in the album, fire. If you haven't listened to that, we're gonna put all his information on there. I want y'all to go back in. But we're tuned into we're on the new shit.
Yep.
That newness that's dropping in Love and Memory.
In Love and Memory.
Why that title?
I think it's been a rough couple years for a lot of reasons. Not just COVID and masks and vaccines and shit like that. There's a whole nother side of the war, the multiple wars that's been going on. And we lost a lot of people to both of those, you know, to the different types of wars, different types of battles that's going on. And I'm just tired of mourning, tired of that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And dying is part of life. Transition is part of the journey, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's very crippling. And I'm tired of that feeling, especially for our people. And I think our people, you know, I want to be able to celebrate life more than I mourn death. You know what I mean? I think that's like right now where I'm at. The past couple of years has led me here for sure, like really pushed me over the edge in that feeling. But I've always felt that in some way. I just didn't really know how to articulate it, let alone make art. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like acting as a prayer or an homage to that feeling. But yeah, I think that like, I don't know. I want to, it's not like you celebrating when homies is passing. It's not like that, but it's like, yo, it's like, let's remember them the right way.
So did the title come first or did the songs come first?
The songs came first because they're kind of scattered and date back to like way earlier dates.
Does that always is that your normal process when putting together your projects? Is it always titled or songs entitled or title? How does it normally or more so on a more broad question, like do all your projects come together the same, or is it kind of like you go into it with time for me to drop some new shit, or is it just like I drop, now I'm kind of like I'm just recording, and if something comes together, it comes together? Because I know like you being an independent artist, you're set to your own schedule of like how you want to put music out. So
gift and a curse.
Definitely a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So it's no like deadlines and dates on you. So and I think a lot of indie artists kind of like, I think that's where a lot of people fall short, where they kind of give gripes like, I don't have a deal. Like, well, first, in order to be picked up by a business, you have to understand how a business works. You have to understand how an artist needs to be an artist, how deadlines and all that stuff works. So if you're not giving yourself deadlines and all this stuff, you kind of just like fucking off and just on your, I'm making music, I'm living. And
hell yeah.
so that's why you know people who like are talented as fuck, but they have no bodies of work. and they can't figure it out. It's like, so are you an artist that? How do you work in that sense?
I think I go through phases, but once I realized it was like my profession and it was no longer a hobby, I think that kind of just changed how I shifted, like how I view it. I started seeing it as like, yeah, I'm on the clock right now. Like how I'm gonna get this paper, how I'm gonna make this. If I'm working commission and I'm on the clock, like how I'm gonna make sure I leave after the 8 hours, the 12-hour shift, 15-hour shift, and feel like, yeah, like everything I did today was like, I got some form of currency for it, either fiscally or like, social currency or something they can convert to. I don't know if fiscally was the term. Is it fiat? What's the term for it? I think it's fiat, right?
You asking wrong. Yeah. I ain't gonna.
You know what I mean? If y'all
My
know
lingo
it, if y'all
so
know it, put it in the
chopped
comments.
Man, I definitely done said some wrong words. So, but I don't want to lose this train of thought. So that mindset, was that something that was always there, or because I know, like you said, you're looking at it like a business, but I know at some point in time there was no revenue there, or you were trying to make revenue. So did you have to like shift into that mindset, or were you kind of like a person who always been like, all right, when I want to do something, I turn that shit into something?
Yeah, that's just how I was. That's probably a product of my parents. My father's military, and my mom is a Caribbean woman. So
it's easy for you to get on a schedule.
You know what I mean? It's just it's discipline. And going away to college, that shit really solidified it for me. Going away to college is like, nobody's gonna remind you to clean up your room. You just gonna come back to your room and be like, damn, it smell wacky in here. Like.
That's what people split, because it's people who can live in filth and they're cool with that.
Yeah, I can't think straight, bro. I can't think straight. When my room is a mess, I feel sick. I feel like I'm not at 100, and that shit is like, it kind of dampens everything that I got going on. So definitely like comes from how I was raised, just discipline, and like, yeah, if you don't prepare in X amount of ways, the repercussions are going to be X amount of things, more times than not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you luck out, you can ace a test without studying, but if you study, you got a way better chance. You know what I'm saying? And
facts.
Yeah, it might sound corny, but
some people watching this need to hear that. Like, I guess, because I think everybody, in a sense, it's not necessarily with an artist mindset. I think with an entrepreneurial mindset, you kind of gotta, if you're knowing you're gonna go into business for yourself and doing anything, you gotta treat yourself, art, all that, like a business.
Yeah.
It's the same responsibilities. So you can either work for somebody, or you can do it on your own, to the point to where you make it so valuable when another entity comes along, it's a partnership.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've figured out how to do this on my own.
On as many levels as possible too. It's not just like, I recorded X amount of hours today, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's like, if you're really seeing it as a business, it's like, what's all the parts of a business? There's like the storefront, there's customer service, there's all these different type, you know what I'm saying? Like rewards programs, who are the VIPs for your business? You know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. You build community and you build your business in the community that way. And I feel like once I shifted my brain to thinking of it that way, and less of like, all right, like, I'm done with this thing, I'm gonna go do this for a few hours. It's like, to relieve myself. Yeah, it can relieve myself, but like, there's days where like I'm doing music related shit, but it's not the music, and I don't want to be writing them emails. I don't want to be doing this, but I know that I have to maintain the business.
Exactly.
Right. So for the business,
I don't think people understand how deeply this man is into his own.
And the ones who do, I see you,
career.
because that shit is.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
This is one of the
At the
ones.
same time.
You guys definitely went straight into the entree. I want to take it back to the appetizer. So, Mr. Don Smith,
Yeah.
please tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got to this point?
Let's keep it on the. We talking the project.
I know. Y'all went straight to it.
You say get to this point. What's this point?
This
From
point,
your perspective.
so after listening to the project, I'm like, wow, this man is really, the project that's gonna put him into that. All right, I'm done really playing. You know what I mean? Like, once you hear this project, it sounds like it's either, I need to go back and listen to all your old stuff, or it's like, I'm ready for the next thing, because this is put together in a way that's like really professional. So like, how'd you get to this point where, like, we talked about keeping the customs, your background, but what made you really look yourself in the mirror and say, nah, I'm about to put out this He Rock, and I know it's gonna be a masterpiece?
I don't want to make the same project 10 times, bro. Yeah, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the stuff that I was already doing, but like, once I have established my footing in that and my confidence, like, it's time to elevate this shit.
Yeah.
My favorite artist of all time is Michael Jackson, bro. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson didn't make the same album 10 times.
And not at all.
Yeah, and like, you know, give that to credit to the different producers he was working with.
Quincy,
you know, all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? But
writers on that stuff.
I like the objective is to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who knows what's in store for me, bro? 20 years down the line, I might be a pop star writing pop songs, bro.
Yeah.
Writing the new Arby's. I might be on my Pusha T, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know.
Yeah.
But I would like to find out, and I feel like I'm not gonna have the opportunity to find out if I keep pressing the same, taking the same jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna.
So what was that when you was creating this project? Was that part of the mindset? Because I feel like in this project it's like it's not braggadocious because you're not really like trying to. I feel like it's confidence, but then there's like a level that's a little bit above confidence because you can be confident and keep it to yourself and just live a certain way. But I think when you're an artist, it's like, all right, I'm confident. I need not only my peers to understand something, but I need everybody who knows me personally to understand something. Like I don't want to sound cliche, but like, yo, I am him. But I think for you, it's kind of like, if you don't see what's going on, you're either not understanding what I'm talking about, or you just don't want to see it. I felt a lot of that in the project more so, like you were shedding a skin.
So I want to touch on that, right?
Go
That
ahead.
last part. Something you asked me earlier. One of you guys had said like something about In Love and Memory feeling kind of like melancholy or like dark. You're like, why did you choose that title? So the other part of it, besides, you know, losing people that are dear to us, is transitioning ourselves and saying goodbye to older versions of ourselves, dated versions of ourselves.
Yeah, I definitely got more. I got that over the sound, not the soundtrack. Like you would think that we're mourning, but this is the message. But I'm serving it to you on the obituary.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like even with the cover art, the way you like did the promo, it's like, damn, it's like he's giving the everything for me to be sad, but when I listen to the music, like I'm inspired as shit.
Good.
I mean,
man,
and I've been to some funerals that are just like that. You know, when you got one of the OGs go away,
Facts.
you know what I mean?
The same type of like,
it's a different vibe. It's like,
damn, he really lived it up.
Yeah.
He understood life.
yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what you was.
It's like if you
Well, actually, even in long time, your bar, you say, for my 10,000 hours, they never offered me in
Let's
advance.
get into these bars.
And not a lot of people understand the 10,000 hours. You know what I mean? And what that really takes to, you talked about the transformation, and like, it really takes a certain level of commitment. Of course, there's those people who have the one-hit wonders. You know, even those one-hit wonders, when you go back, there's time and effort that they put to get where they at. So it's like,
much
you know,
respect to them. You
oh
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
exactly. So it's like, I really, you know, fucked with that reference and to say, you know, I never got an advance for that, but those 10,000 hours are definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying?
And you, the biggest thing about 10,000 hours is that's the first checkpoint. The goal is not to hit 10,000 hours and then be like, yeah, that's it. Like, I'm good.
Exactly.
It's like,
you just know once I've done that, like, okay,
it's the
I'm in
first
it.
door.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's the first checkpoint. And then it's 50,000. And then it's
Exactly.
100,000. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, your 10,000 hours is just the first checkpoint. It's not the goal. It's not the end goal. So that's where that bar came from, because it was like, damn, everybody always talking about 10,000 hours, but like sometimes you wake up some days and you like yo, what the like?
What did I get from that?
We ain't getting all the bread. Yeah, you like, yo, damn, why I put on all these hours? Like,
Exactly.
it's not really transferring into something direct, you know, tangible.
They think it's like a literal like checkpoint. Like, yo, once I'm able to take this slip and show these,
It's like, no, bro.
like I did my community service. I did my 10,000 hours of
Right.
community service. Let me off and let me get this bag. Where the bag at? Tell me where the bag at now.
It's a checkpoint, man.
Exactly.
So with that mindset, the first record to come out from the project was Still Done.
Right.
Video fire.
Thank you, man. That record's old. It's from 2019.
Wow.
Conceptually, I feel like everything we're talking about, if you can't understand it, I think if you watch that video, you'll be able to understand it. Because I think that's what it is. It's like understanding of life, understanding both sides of it, like the dark side of it, being deaf, being the times of not having, then the light side of it, the fun times, the good times, the learning experiences, and like being able to see both sides. Because I felt like in the video you're seeing all sides. You're seeing young Don, you're seeing Don now, and you're seeing older Don. And whoever that you got to play you, yo, look up.
People thought I was really related to him.
You can tell me you're not, but I'm still leaving. If you haven't watched that video, go see it. He looks just like this nigga. Whoever this nigga is, he looks just. You really got to see yourself being. I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. It was like some CGI shit, weird as fuck. But anyway, on that song you talk about legacy. So
shout out to Miles. I think that's his name.
Miles, shout out to OG.
Shout out to Miles.
OG
Miles
out
Cranford, I think is his name.
Doing his thing, hold it down.
If it's not, then it's Cannon Sanders Washington. That's the older man and the younger kid. Shout out to both of them.
Oh, and the producer of that record.
The producer of the song or the video?
The song.
Ran Van Dam,
Ran
my
Van
boy.
Dam.
Yeah.
The homie.
Harlem's best, man.
You want to shout out
to
the shooters and all that? You feel me? You want to...
For that?
Yeah, the video?
But it was a big team. I will shout out the director, though. He trusted me. We trusted each other. It was an important ass video for me, and I brought it to him thinking it was going to be something way smaller. But he believed in it so much, he made it so much bigger of a production than I ever would have thought it was going to be. And
so we didn't shoot that. You came to him with a little. You just say you want this to eat. He was like, all right, this is how we make it. Was this how we make that meal 3 courses?
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, like I see what this is supposed to look like, and I haven't experienced that yet, so I didn't know that it could look like that.
Yeah, because
he's experienced. He's a playwright. He's a screenwriter. He's a director. He does a lot of things, but he's experienced more than anything.
That video gave me like the vibes of the videos I watched growing up, where like they had actual storylines.
Yeah,
it had like multiple. It had that feel even when you sitting there at the picnic table. It's just a vibe and you rapping, and then but it's still a storyline going on.
Niggas clown me for that scene.
Yo, I don't care, bro.
I love that scene.
Nostalgic as fuck. That shit feel like I'm watching. I feel like I'm at the crib watching fucking MTV in the morning before school, and this the video that's coming on. So I know somebody at a younger age, like they not thinking about that shit. They like, oh, they're seeing this shit. Like, damn, he lived like that. He be at the picnic tables rapping.
It looks relatable.
And shit look real. Like this is what I want my rappers to look like. But I think definitely the legacy part of it really stood out to me on that, like, and what that means. Was I about to say something else and went to that?
My bad. I might have threw you off.
Did you? It don't matter.
But you talked about actually you mentioned the nostalgia aspect.
Welcome to the Rap and Trouble
There
podcast,
we go.
baby.
On to the next. On
You
to the
feel
next. Here it is.
Natural.
So when somebody hears your work and they may say that you sound like a particular artist or things may be in the realm of a certain artist, do you lean into that? Do you like those references? Because I feel like it's good that if people hear you, they're like making a connection with somebody, but sometimes they can get a little bit like, oh, you sound like this person, you sound like that person. How you feel about that?
This is funny. I actually had a conversation about this a couple hours ago with my boy Tofu. I was telling him like I had seen an email where my manager was describing me to somebody he was pitching. His assistant was pitching to, and I'm not gonna name the artist he mentioned.
Yeah.
But it was just 2 artists that like I have never heard somebody put.
Come on, B. We got the Rap and Trouble podcast, man.
But once I read it though, I was like,
are they bigger artists or are they like?
They're bigger. And
come on, B.
Nah. But the point is, I was like, once I read it, I was like, yo, damn, I kind of see how he got there.
You gotta tell me off cam though.
Yeah, I'll tell you off cam.
Yeah, I gotta hear that. That's hilarious.
Put it in the comments who y'all think it is.
With that being said, who's the rapper you've heard somebody said to you like, yo, you sound like you give me them vibes, and he was like, what?
Well, let me answer his question first.
All right, my fault.
I get into it or not? Nah, you good. I think younger me, less experienced me was more like I'll be kind of giddy. And I'm a fan of him. I'm glad he said this person. I'm glad. Now I'm kind of just like, word, like that's your experience has led your ears to like perceive it that way. It's all perception. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at the same painting the same way. So I used to be a little nervous when people asked me that or like would bring it up. Now it's kind of like I'm almost eager. I'm like, yo, I'm interested. Like, what do you get?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Somebody can listen to something, a hook you did, and be like, yeah, bro, this reminds me of a Sade record. Niggas are like Don Smith shot Day. Like,
Like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But for that person, that's what it was.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And it's funny because Bruin has played me tracks that y'all did together, and it's a whole different vibe than what I've gotten from the solo stuff. Because I'm like, I could get that tag team feel when it's y'all on the track together. It's like the way y'all trying to really be on the track. When I'm hearing your solo stuff, I'm like, word, I'm hearing more of your pockets and where you like to be, you know. So it's like, it's cool to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. What you was saying something earlier about?
yeah. So let's get back to what I was saying before we lose that. So who's the as a this is like some up and coming rapper shit. Just at the Rapper and Drummer podcast, I'm gonna have different conversations with rappers.
Yeah.
Who's the person you heard like from another interview or podcast and they've been like, yo, you sound like you give me like such and such vibes. You be like, all right.
It changes where it changes depending on where the interview is, who's interviewing me, whatever the situation.
But not even on a bad note, like and in a general consensus, like who do people? Because
like which ones do I get the most?
which ones? Because you get the most.
Okay. I get. I don't know if y'all know who Blue is. BLU.
I'm familiar.
You
I've
ever heard of
some
Below
like,
the Heavens, Blue in Exile? This is it's backpack.
I'm about to say back in the days, Pac Div.
Okay.
Like
Yes, that Pac Div, Kids in the Hall.
I could see where somebody would say,
but it's specifically him and his voice.
I think it's a tone. It's a tone thing.
Lately, I've gotten more, or not lately. I would say once I started putting my music out a couple years ago, like professionally, I was getting a lot of Boldy James, and this before Boldy James was on the run he'd been on.
I don't even, and I think it might just be because like I'm like a genuine fan. So like after you have such a, I don't want to say like it is a unique sound, but it's such a your sound that like after you hear like the first project and then you hear the second one, like oh shit, it's Don Smith. Like he sounds like Don Smith.
And I think I've found that through releasing music, recording myself. I also record a lot of my own music.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that you mixing all that shit.
Yeah, like it's
one man.
You spend time with yourself in that intimate way. You know what I'm saying? You get to hear all the things you love about your voice, all the things you hate about the texture of your voice, and through that I found confidence in my voice and like presence, and I think that confidence has helped me step into that presence whenever I'm featuring somebody's record, when I'm doing my own record.
You
So
bring
now
the Don Smith experience to the
So
record.
now it is Don Smith. It's fully that. And so I'm glad you say that because that's how I feel now. You know, before I could be like, yeah, I kind of hear what you're saying. Less so now when people say other rappers' names or influences. I'm like, yeah, I respect the opinion, but like I actually don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's not really an ego thing. It's just like, I've become my own package.
And it's funny because you mentioned off camera that how like, you know, one of the, I forgot which track you said was more spoken word. And I wasn't even going to say it, but when I was listening to it, I was like, yo, he's in his Common bag. Not that you sounded like Common, but you was in your bag as far as like, it felt like a poem. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the one I get the most.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember who it was. My whole life, that's the one I've gotten the most.
That could be the one out of all of them that I kind of understand the most.
That's funny.
If you like, if you got a gun to your head and you like, if you don't want to say, I'm like, yo, he sounds like Don Smith, bro. You got to listen to him. Nigga, like, yo, who? I'd be like, Common. Nigga,
Yeah, exactly. The younger Common for sure too. Like
just the tone and how
they
you
say
kind of
type
like,
Common.
you're on the beat. And I think especially now, cause like just coming, like I said, the run you was on from how it started to where I feel you are now. And I told you just like in private conversation, like where I feel like you're at, like as far as just on your rapping shit, I feel like you can't make any mistakes. So like when you're like rapping, it's like damn, and it's coming off like that because even when you're like not in pocket, it's like you're still in pocket because it's like a continuous thought, and I don't think a lot of people understand as far as like when you're creating songs, like in the songwriting process, like how hard that is to like not just say such and such period, such and such period, such and such period.
You wouldn't paint on the 12 different canvases that way. You're going to hit that shit different every time. I would think so. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to, I did the top in red. I did this part in orange. You're not going to do that
But everybody
every time.
got their formula though.
And I respect it. I guess what I should say is I'm not going to approach 12 canvases the same way every time. That's just not, that's not in my nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, even on this project, when God Knows, your flow on that was very. I got like Cali cruise music. Like that's something I would definitely bump in the car. You know, on the U-turn type shit. Especially just the way. You feel me?
Wildin'. What you in Cali busting U-turns for?
I bust U-turns everywhere. You know that.
Yeah, you do. Be
Don't mean nothing.
Don't tell nobody though.
Yeah, but
U-turns serious.
Yes.
You
Bro.
put the arm behind the seat.
you feel me? You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm like, this ain't going the wrong way. Like, nah, I just want to hit this U-turn.
Nigga put his
To
arm
this
behind
song
the seat.
specifically.
Bro, you have everybody in the car nervous. And they just stop the car.
I was gonna go local, but I'm about to hit the highway. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Taking this U-turn.
That's
Like,
a
yo,
big
this a-
change, brother. That's it.
This is a perfect spot to make a U-turn. That's
Yeah.
I've seen people drive like that. They just, nah, I ain't gonna talk about them.
Okay,
I feel like I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I want to get into more of these lyrics because you know I be trying to get.
I got a few notes. Yep. Right.
On To Be Grateful, you say I used to lie in the mirror but put the truth in the music. When you say that,
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
I used to lie in the mirror but put the truth in the music. When I heard that, there was one of the ones I had to run back because I was making sure that I got it like the first time. And I guess to get the whole thought across, you got to hear like the 4 bars before it. It kind of all like coincides with each other. To kind of, I think this is like your ending point of the, if I'm right, the couple bars before it. But just like how self-image is so, how the idea and self-image in our community, it's not always, it's kind of like, it's real finagled, especially when it comes to like culture and art and like music and how so much everything, because you kind of talking about in this point, talking about just like self-image in this that first couple parts of the verse or whatever, but then you still got to be a rapper at the end of the day. So it's like, do you allow the lack of to not come through your, some people take the lack of and they go to the booth and they talk bullshit, like
To fill up those spaces.
to fill up that, to feel like that, to that's how they feel like they're gonna manifest that shit. Like, I'm gonna put this shit into the music. I ain't got a Rolls Royce now, but I'm gonna rap about this. I don't got all the more, this shit fake, but I'm gonna rap like it's real. So it's like you're more so like because the line is kind of, I don't think it's a double entendre, but it's kind of like a double negative. Well, a double negative and a double positive in the same way, because it's like when I first heard it, I thought one was kind of like negating the other, but I was like, damn, they living in the same space. So like, just what was your mindset when you was writing that verse in particular?
I think before I was sure who I was on like a human level, not on a donSMITH level, like on the name my parents gave me at birth level. I think there's things in life, and it's going to continue to be this way, but I think there's parts of our life where like we still learning about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. The issue was I wasn't fully confident in who I was as a person, but I was really confident in my art and who I thought donSMITH was and who he's supposed to be. And some days, you know, you go back to that. Some days you got to check yourself in the mirror. Like, yo, you're not living honest. You know what I'm saying? You got to check yourself.
Facts.
Because you have all the day ones around you want, but they not all going to check you. There's certain things they can't check you on.
Facts.
There's certain things, you know what I'm saying, my shorty can't check me on. So it's like, I think that, especially I think to like younger me first freestyling with my cousin. And I think, oh yeah, I got to rap about this and that I don't have and try to sound like.
Thought it came with a package like this.
Yeah,
it only came with
the
this
starter
box
pack.
of words.
You know what I mean? The starter pack and
Hoes, clothes,
all of that.
You feel me?
And you know, you have we're gonna do a photo shoot. You dress like what you think you're supposed to look like. You borrow you rent this. You get this piece of ice. You know what I'm saying? And I think I was like way more focused on that instead of realizing that like the person informs the art. At least for me. And the experiences inform the art and not the other way around. Now I know some people also like they become characters when they make certain projects. That's what I respect about Kanye West, Kid Cudi, right? It's like each project in their catalog, they kind of stepped into a version of themselves and lived in that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of our favorite artists are like that, honestly.
Yeah. because
that's-
it's a part of them. You get,
I think it comes with, and I think you're just at a space now where you could kind of like see them do it. But I think after you've kind of like, you're still kind of getting to you're still in the introductory level of donSMITH. So then when you're able to like, okay, what's the next one gonna be? Now you can take these parts of yourself and like, all right, you get the spotlight this album. We could just, you could shine. And then we put you back in. Where I think a kind of artists get him, and that's the beautiful part about art, especially like in our culture. But I think letting those characters become like your real.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes what those characters represent is detrimental to our culture. And that's why I fuck with you as an artist, because it's like, there's another guy who's like, the everyday person can like root for this person because like my struggle was in his story, and it's not so much of a, I've come up off this struggle because I was out here doing this, that, and the third. It's like, no, I'm a voice for your struggle. I'm a voice for our like struggle, and I'm just the best voice for it. You feel me? So it's like, damn, like I'm like non-biased, like damn, even when you hear it, even if it's like a sound you don't fuck with, if you somebody who just kind of like your music one type of way, when you hear it, you're like, I don't root for this guy. Cause it's not so much, I don't feel like this nigga is trying to like, my brother, put some game. I feel like he's not like, it's separate from that.
It's not condescending at all.
Yeah, it's so separate from that.
The
It's
people
like,
I think would end up interpreting that way, sometimes I feel like they're missing it. I'm not talking down to anybody ever. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Who am I? You know what I mean? And tomorrow, the world could disappear.
Oh, yeah.
And it would just be stars and planets. Right? None of it. We would be not even a blink in the time span of what is the universe we know. So I never put myself too high on that pedestal and think that I could. I have a mic and a voice, so I could speak down to. I think the goal is to, like you said, inform on like, yeah, bro, like there's a lot of, this isn't just my experience. There's a lot of people who have similar. You know what I'm saying? What J. Cole say? He say, I want to be the fountain of hope you throw pennies in. That shit really resonates with me. You know what I'm saying? For a couple different artists, not a lot of artists I could put on that list, but like some artists, it's like, yeah, you might go back to something you listened to in 6th grade and be like, yo, damn, this shit still hits me.
Yeah.
It's because of that. Some of those artists is giving you those feelings. So
and to cut to reference donSMITH on God Knows, you said trying to fill his shoes, no toe space. And that took me way back to childhood. Going to Cookies, going to these different Foot Lockers and all that. And my parents always pressing down on the shoe, like, how much space you got in them shoes?
I
You
did
know
that
what I'm
shit
saying?
the other day. I did it the other day. Yeah.
So it's like when you get those type of nostalgic feelings in the raps, it's like you giving those punchlines, but it's like it's real nigga punchlines. You know what I'm saying? You can feel it. So
Yeah, man. I'm glad it resonates.
oh yeah, definitely. And even like what you said, I was told to study Pippen more than I did Jordan.
that was a fire,
That one was fire to me, especially being a drummer. It's like I'm never trying to be the main character. I always want to be the supporter. And everybody always wants to be the Jordan and have the 6 rings, but it's like we forget about Pippen, man.
My whole life, man.
You forget about Pippen.
My whole life.
Yeah.
My uncle has always said, everybody can't be Mike.
Yeah.
My whole life. And what's funny is I grew up, not fully understanding it. Is also, he didn't mean Michael Jordan at the time.
He meant Michael Jackson?
He was talking about Michael Jackson, my uncle.
Wow.
It wasn't until the recent years of my adult life, close friend of mine, he came to me. He was like, yeah, pay attention. He said, pay attention to Pippen. When you're watching the documentaries, pay attention to the moments when they talk about him, the Last Dance or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was like, in general, just like pay attention to Pippen and his story. We all know Mike.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird how they ended up connecting, because I respect both of these people in my life, but yeah, man, the accents, the details.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't gotta always be the main character.
That's it.
Everybody
Facts.
can't be the main character.
They can't.
We don't got that enough. We don't got that much cap space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the being the best main character in your story is the. Because, bro, I remember having a conversation, not to be off topic, with my aunt about this, about like, what if your purpose in life was to just push the next person to change the world?
Exactly.
But you could never get there because the whole time you thought you were supposed to be the one that changed the world. So now we just don't get that change because of a selfish mindset.
Oh yeah. My man Cootie just now with this Genius doc. That's home video. got the bag.
He stopped doing comedy.
Yeah.
Like, and just
I
believed in
still haven't
that.
watched it.
Oh yeah, you got that's a must
You
watch.
still ain't watch it?
Nah, I'm fake waiting until it's done so I can like.
It's done.
No, yeah, it's
Oh,
done.
for real?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
three
it's done. Yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought it was
watch
like 6.
Nah,
Nah.
it's just 3.
Oh, okay.
It's a,
I
yeah,
gotta
you.
tap in.
Yeah, it's a different type of. By both parties, both Kanye and both Cudi, there's just so much inspiration in there because it's like, especially I would say you definitely watch it because the type of music you're making is like a popular sound. At one point in time, it was the sound. And I think now we've gotten so far away from the purity of what it is. And I think Kanye was going through that at the same time when he had like Jesus Walks and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot of like flashy rap going on at that time. So we pulling up, you play that shit, it's kind of like a. But I think the
went to hear Old
people
Boy.
needed that shit, bro.
Yeah.
The people chose Kanye, bro.
Yeah.
Kanye chose Kanye too, though.
He chose his,
Yeah.
but the people,
Yeah, for sure.
the industry didn't put him on the. If they would have known now what they knew then, he would have had a deal as soon as he ever made his first beat. As soon as he said he wanted to rap, he would have had a. You feel me? So it's like.
Yeah, I first knew about Kanye through the accident. It was like, yo, this rapper who put out a video after getting in the accident. Then it was like, I put everything together.
Shout out to his PR team.
Yeah,
man.
it was
At
crazy.
the time, that was
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But
yeah, that's crazy.
I think we pretty. You got any more questions for the homie?
Just in your beat process selection, what was the process of picking your beats, and also the last few things about those soul samples of like church services and things like that? How'd you go about picking the right little spots to throw those in there?
I think it was tough figuring out the church or the religious aspect.
Yeah.
Was that sample already from the first song? Was that already on there? Or was that something you put on there?
No, there was something I put on there.
Fire.
When I sent it back to the producer, Sai Puda, he was like, "Oh, you found it, bro."
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, "Yo, that shit sound
Yeah,
like
it sounded like it. You know what I mean? But it was hard because I was like, I don't want people to listen to this and be like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with gospel." I didn't want them to put me in that category solely. It's like, oh, he said God X many times. It's the church, this type of vibe. He's doing gospel rap.
Yeah.
So I ain't want to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just
trust me, I
you know what I
definitely
mean?
understand.
Yeah.
Because people will put you there and kind of close the lid and put a bow on it.
Oh yeah,
put it on
that's
the
it.
shelf.
Exactly.
We don't want that.
You gotta work
know
with
what I'm
Kurt
saying?
Franklin only. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So it was tough, but I was trying to find the right pockets, and I knew that it had to exist on all aspects, audio, but also visual. Like with the Still Don video, you know, and even this next video is parts of it bring us back to the church, and it's not as much about like the church; it's about what the church means, right? And the production, I mean, for me, it's all about colors. Everything on that project is the same color as the cover. It's that blue. It's like a gratitude blue. And sonically, yeah.
Nah, I definitely.
That's kind of. I'm not gonna say I have synesthesia or nothing like that. I don't really know. I don't know if I believe
but they
in that.
definitely.
But certain
all the songs they live in the same. Like, it's very cohesive.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of let the music take me where it was supposed to, bro. Like,
Yeah.
this project could have been 12 songs. It could have been, but it was short enough that it's like, all right, this is a short, brief prayer that you can repeat to yourself later on, and it can act as that for you. Even how I write for the records is like, I don't often write to beats, honestly. In the past couple years of my life, I don't write to beats. I just kind of, sometimes I'll be in an Uber. I'll be like, oh shit, like something will just hit me. You know what I'm saying? And I'll write it down, and I'll write a whole song and then close my phone, and then 2 months later I'll find a beat and I'll be like, oh, I know the verse I have for this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Oh no,
My bad.
100%.
Yeah.
I think you could let me know. I think with our guests, the last final thing should be shout outs. You know, shout out to whoever you want to.
Go let them know about the project.
Yeah,
I think by the time it's come out, the project will be out. Definitely be out. So let them know.
Let them know.
Man, definitely appreciate all the producers for being patient with me. A lot of these songs, like I mentioned, were old, and they kind of. I'm a believer in like it'll find a place in your catalog when it's time. Don't force it. If it, do not force it, because people, when you force it, when you force a smile in a photo and people look
You
at
can
the photo,
tell.
they know
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not a real smile, bro.
That's a fact.
So-
That's a fact.
I want to send a shout out to the producers. I appreciate them for being patient. Ram Van Dam specifically, Still Down is from 2019. Actually, it's from 2018.
Yeah.
But we shot the video in 2019. Sum Total, Sapuda, Flosin, I think is his name. I haven't met him in person, but he's a real good dude. And that's the thing, like, some of these guys I just met strictly off YouTube.
Wow.
Most of them is like real life, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
some of them is off YouTube, and I don't usually like doing that, but once in a while, they're like real people.
Yeah.
They're not bots.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Keep your personality
Yeah.
intact. And then the last person, Limo, he did Long Time Coming.
Okay.
Bodied it.
That's
Yeah. So shout out to all the producers for sure, first and foremost. The photographer, the cover, he captured exactly what was needed to be captured. And I guess I don't want to go too far or go too long, but shout out to all the ones that's, no longer with us. And it was their time to exit, and they exited, and we're here because of them.
Living
Gratitude, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to y'all. Thank you for having me, man.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you.
appreciate
Man.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all go and cop that, stream that,
And Love and
comment,
Memory.
and
Yeah.
Love and Memory EP. Yeah.
Thanks. Much success in this project and all you got going on.